Motion elements. Motion elements. Motion elements. Motion elements. Motion elements. Motion elements.
Yeah, we're having a free class on wrap trouser, and like I said, if you be joining us, you should get your tape rule ready, your measurements, your master curve. We need your fabric, and then your straight pins. You need to get your straight pins ready. Okay, so for the wrap trouser, we'll be working with a measurements waist circle. You can always get your waist circle. It's not necessary you have you can always work with any figure. Don't worry, it's not necessary you have the standard measurements. The measurement I'm working with, you can get your own measurement. Now I'll be working with trouser length 37, then waist circle 34, and then we'll work with a crotch depth of 12 inches. Now after getting your measurement, the next thing you do is to make sure your fabric is well ironed so as not to avoid rumples. Then you pick your fabric like this. I'll be working with 2 yards here. I have just 2 yards of this fabric here, so I'll be folding this fabric into 4. If you are interested in training, like you want to know how to get to measure the trouser, we're doing a video on that soon, but you can always message us to get your own full video or personal training. Okay, so now I have this into 4. I have my fabrics folded into 4 already, so I'll be working with pin. If you are working with doing something like this, you have to work with pin. So you pin down the edges, all through. I have my fabric folded into 4 already. Like I said, you fold your fabrics into 4. So we are working on something like this. This is a wrap trouser. Remember, you wrap. When we're done, you get to see it. I'll also show you how this one looks like, but we are working on this right now. So we have this laid on the table to cut. Always ensure that your fabric is well laid. This trouser should not take you 30 minutes to work on. Okay, like me, I don't really like working with the edges of the fabric because of the print. So I'll be working, I have to get a guideline to start to work with. So I can easily walk through, cut off these edges. So I just have to repin my fabric. So I'm going to cut this off. Notes, always make sure like I said earlier, make sure your fabric is always well laid to avoid excess. Because of the label, I don't like working with label, a fabric with a label and a edge. I always love to work with the fabric itself, not the one that you wear clothes and they'll be asking you you'll know where the fabric is coming from. So now the next thing is you work with, let's go on, moving on to the calculations. Our waist here is 34, like I said. So we divide 34 by 4. We divide 34 by 4. So the figure we get should be 8.5. We get 8.5. So here, if our waist, 1/4 of our waist is 8.5, you add 8 inches to it. That 8 inches is for our crotch. For our crotch here. Then you also add your wrap extension, wrap allowance. Our wrap allowance can either be 5 inches or 6 inches. So I'll be working with 6 here. Let's work with 6 inches here, or better still, no, let me work with 5 inches better, because my fabric is kind of stretchy. So I'll be working with 5 inches. So in total I have 8.5 plus 8, that's 16.5 plus 5, that's 21.5. So on this width here, considering the folded part, I'll be measuring 21.5 on the width. On width, I'll make sure I get 21.5 on width. Don't forget your fabric should be folded into 4. So this is it on width. And then here, the next thing we have to get the crotch depth. The crotch depth here is 12 inches. And note, we will be working with band, like what we have here. We have a band here. So we have to work with band, and our band should be 2 inches at most. 2 inches, I think. 2 inches. So we subtract the 2 inches from our crotch. Our crotch is 12 inches minus 2. That's 10 inches. That's 10 inches. So here I'll be marking 10 plus 0.5 for seam allowance. So here is the crotch depth there. So sorry, I should be marking that here. 12.5 here. Yeah, I'll be doing the cutting at the center. That's unfolded part. That's where we mark the crotch depth. So then the next thing, you mark the 8 inches for the crotch. These 8 inches for the crotch at the waist there. So from this waist of 8 inches and then my crotch, the crotch depth here, I'll be using the pattern master to connect it to it. You can easily use your hand if you are good with free hand. So from the 8 inches to the crotch depth of 10.5, subtracted 2 inches for the band from it. So I'm going to be cutting this to shape out the crotch here. Don't forget the one thing, we're supposed to get out our length, but you can always work with any length of your desire. But I said I'll be working with 37 inches on the length. $37 inches minus your band. Subtract your band from it. Our band is 2 inches minus 2. That's 35. Then seam allowance of 0.5 to stitch it back to the band, and also hemming allowance of 1 inch. So I should have 36.5 as my total length. You can always, your desired length is advisable. You can make your length longer. You can make it get to your ankle. You can also make it get to all the way down to your length, to the floor. What was our total? 21.5. start with 21.5. I'm bringing that 21.5. I want to take it as well so that cut that out before we cut. After getting the waist, the width, you get your length as well. So 21.5. All the way. So the next thing we'll be going to the machine to do our magic. We'll be making use of our 4-thread overlocking machine to join our seam. Look at what we have here. So what we have here, this is 1 and then this is 2. So it's going to be looking like a magic, but what we are doing, you'll see the magic will just perform. But before we go on to the machine, let's join with, I always love to work with pins. Like I said in the class, if you are starting, make sure you have your pins around you. So let me have this. Pin through. The pin helps in our part and to avoid some parts getting longer than the other. Pin it through. So I'll be moving to the industrial now to lock. So what I simply did here, just the crotch. Don't forget I calculated the waist here. This is 1/4 of the waist plus our wrap extension. 1/4 of the waist plus our wrap extension here. Okay, we are done here. We are done here. So here for the band, if you be cutting out your band, for us to cut out our band, what we have there, that's the waist unfold. Let me have it. So here, what we have from here to here, we're going to measure it and then add our rope extension. So we have from here to here to be 27.5. Please add it. 27.5. So then we need, you can make your rope, that's for the tying, like what we have here, from here to here. For each strand, you can make it 10 inches. Each hand, you can make it 10 inches. You can also make it more, however you want it. I will be working with 12 inches on my own. I'll be working with 12 inches. So that's 27 inches plus 24. That's 12 on each side. That's 27 plus 24. That's 51. I'm trying to check out where we can, where we should have that here. 27 plus 12. 27 plus 12 is 39. Abi? 39. So let me see if I have 39. This is 28. I need a longer one, so the one that we have 20. We need 39. Yeah, here we go. This is 39. So this is for, this is just for one. So like I said, I always love to work with pin. So let's pin through. Like I said, you can always make your band any inches. You can make it less, it can be less than 2. It's not necessary you work with 2. For me, I love to work with 2 inches to make it bold. It's bold. So I'm cutting out for the 2 bands together. We have two pieces there, front and back. So unfold, that's I'm folding 4 inches through. So 4 inches for each. And by the time I fold this, but then plus seam allowance to stitch on, so I should have about 4.5. I'll be stitching on 5 inches. It should be 5 inches. That's plus seam allowance. So unfold is that's 2.5. Okay, so we have 5 inches. What's the scissors? Fold it down. Splitting it into 2. So here we unpin. Please unpin this. Let me work with this. So I have to get the center of this band. And then we notch the center. Not the center of the band. So let me have the trouser again. And I pin through for each. This is one. This could either be the front or the back. Whenever you want it. determine your crotch, the crotch here, you can divide your hip circle, divide it by 4. Let's assume your hip is 44. Let's assume your hip is 44. If you divide it by 4, what do you have? 11 inches, and then you add 2 inches to it, or 3, however you want it east. This is for one side, this is our strap, this is our row, and then for the other side, let's pin the other side too before we move on to the machine to stitch it together. So we get these two, get the center. Match the center. Through the other side too. Note, before you stitch your band, make sure you hem the sides, because I'm only pinning down before going to sew the sides. I can't stitch the band without sewing the sides. You have to do your sewing of the sides. I just want to do everything once and for all. That's why I'm pinning down the bands. I'm only doing this to show you how it should be, so I won't be coming here twice. There won't be need for me to be here twice. Okay, so here we go. This is the second side we pin. So I'm moving on to the machine. Here I'm overlocking the edges just to leave it. So the edging. If you are not using a Sagada's industrial taping machine, you can always do it like this. You leave the edges before going on to sew the sides. To sew it, hem it down, or you leave the edges whipped. That way, however you want it. So I want to be sure you've whipped all the edges all round. Okay, so all has been done. I'll be moving on to the straight sewing machine. Okay. So there I only whipped the edges. So here I'll be doing the joining of the band and locking, hemming the sides and the hemming once and for all. Anybody that is interested in lesson on class on how to thread the overlocking machine should message me, and I will definitely reply. So I'll do a video and forward it to you. So I need to thread the machine first. Finishing matters a lot when you're working. I'll be aiming it once and for all. Before you know it, we are done. So this, you should be able to do it yourself. Anybody can do it. Self. Your clothes come out looking so neat and ready to wear. Come closer to take a look at this method of stitching band. From the end, I measured in like 2 inches. In the band and the ropes. So this first side I'm done with, you can see. So I already turned it in, and then from there I have about a bit of the inches out. You can see what I'm showing you. Stitch it to the band. Once I to give it a finish look, I need to overlock the edges. And here we go. Our wrap is ready. So let's take it from the top. See how it looks. I need your hair. then the front. Please, I need you to open your legs. Take this. From under, from the front. Taking this. Makes it. Leave your hair this way. That's it. So I say. So you can tie it and hair back. Want it. So here we go. This is from the front to the back. So let's try the other way. Tie it once. You can even tie it as tie it once and then tuck it to the back. Yes, so that it won't be bulky. And then from the front again, tie it to the back. However you rock it is beautiful either way. So there you go. Good. Now good.
Motion elements. Motion elements. Motion elements. Motion elements.
So here we go. So this is under no time. We are done with the wrap trouser. So thank you very much, and this is our fashion workshop, Factory Fidelity Fashion Institute. Here we teach you adequate knowledge. You come here, we teach male, female, children, any pattern, any style, whatever you want. Either basic, if you're a beginner you can enroll. If you're an advanced learner, we are here. Either proficient, middle, if you want to be a professional, we are also available. Just call us 07032191501. We're on WhatsApp, we're on Instagram. Let me call the number again, 07032191501. We're on all social media, and if you also want to learn how to make what I'm wearing, like a shirt and a drawstring by the side, you can always contact us. So we teach you anything, we teach the adequate. This brain is loaded. Thank you.